Live better and longer with the Fitzness Show, hosted by fitness expert, author, and TV personality Fitz Kohler. She'll tell you why diets are dumb, supplements are snake oil, and the truth about how you can earn a lean, hard, pain-free, and athletic body. Now for our favorite bossy blonde, Fitz Kohler.
Hi team, I'm Fitz Kohler, your very happy fitness pro and race announcer from fitzness.com. And welcome to the Fitzness Show. I am feeling great. You know what? I have recovered from race season. Race season was freaking awesome. Race season for me is fall, spring, like it is for most people. It was a bit of chaos, the best kind of chaos, filled with travel and work, hard work, and happy times, and tens and thousands of incredible people that I admire so much and I think are so fun. But whoo, I have finally recovered. I feel like a normal person. In fact, I don't feel like a normal person. I feel like Fitz Kohler. And I like that. Fitz Kohler in proper status has tons of energy and wakes up excited to take on the day and sleeps really hard too. But anyways, I'm back to working out at a full pace and everything's going great. So we got a lot to talk about today. Kind of random stuff that came from my brain that I think you need to hear. And we're just gonna get on with it. If you haven't done so already, make sure you click subscribe on the Fitzness Show and leave me a review. Say something, say anything. I don't care. I'll see your name pop up and I'll think, ooh, that was really cool of that person to do so. That's kind of the podcasting thing. Even though the podcast does very well, apparently keeping it going requires all of these reviews. So do that for me and I'll keep making happy noise for you. So this is the first thing I want to talk about, which you might think is ridiculous, but hang with me. And I've mentioned her a few times over the past few months, which is unusual, but Taylor Swift is kind of in everybody's business, right? I mean, the girl's traveling the world, selling out massive stadiums, breaking records everywhere. And I think she's doing a pretty good job, right? She's a good person. She's has good music. For the people who are trashing Taylor Swift, I just don't get it. Like, why aren't we rooting for someone who's nice and does nice thing and is genuinely talented? Even if you like death metal, you can probably agree that this chick's got something going on, right? So anyways, decent human, singing decent music. Some of us like it more than others. But it's interesting, and my kids are young, so I get all the tea, right? This is kind of what we talk about. Ginger's a little deeper, and then Parker likes to talk about pop culture and stuff. So we went on vacation last week, and one of the things that was hot topic, not only with my kids, but all over the internet, was poor Taylor Swift and her runny nose. And we've been calling her Snifty since then. Instead of Taylor Swift, Taylor Snifty. And here's the deal. The things going around online, besides all the good stuff, is there's this obsession with this poor girl and her runny nose. She has had a runny nose on stage. Apparently, she's had a cold on occasion. Oh my gosh, can you believe she had a cold? Or, I don't know, she was out in the elements, the cold air, the rainy things that make lots of people's nose runs. And then she's very active, which can make your nose run. And so there's these images of her nose running and her wiping it. And what do you do when you're on this massive stage in front of 80,000 people and you're dancing? You can't say, oops, excuse me, pause. I'm going back into my dressing room to get a tissue. You just kind of have to deal with it. And so the poor girl, she wipes her nose. She just shakes it off, literally. Shake it off with her snot. And then sometimes she wipes it like on her leg or on her costume, because what other choice does she have? So there are collages. What do we call? I guess they're still called collages. I don't know. There's a few videos of her wiping her nose a few times. There's a video of her turning her back on her audience and saying, "You're not seeing this. Pretend this isn't happening." And someone brings her a tissue and she blows her nose. So this is the thing. Yes, it's funny. Haha. But I'm a snifty too. That has been a reigning issue for me my whole career as a race announcer and a fitness professional, is being stuck in front of a crowd and having your nose run. And so with race announcing, it happens a lot for a couple of reasons. Number one, my start lines, oh my gosh, they're almost always so cold. Now that's not all the time, but I would say 70 something % of the start lines I'm in are very, very cold. They're 5 o'clock in the morning. They're in California. They're in Buffalo. They're in Fargo, blah, blah, blah. Cold environment makes your nose run. At least it does mine. And then the other thing for me over the past, whatever is now 5 years, is I lost so much of my nostril hair when I went through chemo. And I'm pretty confident the great majority of it hasn't grown back. I have some nostril hair now, hooray. But I actually have a chapter in my Noisy Cancer Comeback, my memoir, called Nostril Wigs and Hot Pants. And that's a reference to, I never wore a wig on my head, but if somebody would have offered me a nostril wig, I would have gladly worn it because it would have prevented my nose from running so much. And so I have spent at least 1,000 hours out in public on a stage with a runny nose. And I mean, it's just, what do you do? Right. And so for me, I'm not dancing around like she is. I normally bring a tissue. Actually, what I've turned to as of late, when I got wise a couple of years ago, what I would do is I'd take a washcloth out of a hotel bathroom. And of course, I would bring it back at the end of the day, but I just take a washcloth out so I could wipe my nose with a washcloth, as opposed to having these little tissues bundled up all over the place in my pocket, or they'd be on my announcer table with my cowbell and they'd start blowing off into the runners or into the finish line. So yeah, running nose is a big deal. And sometimes I haven't had a tissue or a washcloth. And there's been a few times where Rudy Novotny, who I announce a lot of races with, he'd be like, Fitz, your nose is running. I know. There'd be a tip of a runny nose on the tip of my nose. It's just, you're at the mercy. You're talking, you've got the microphone. You can't really stop in the middle of a statement to say, excuse me, for 14,000 people, I have to blow my nose. So anyways, I identify heavily with Taylor Swift. Have I on occasion wiped my nose on my arm? Is it disgusting? Yes. But again, what are your choices when you're out on these stages with no reprieve? And so, yeah, poor girl. That's the thing, is look at her being made fun of for having this runny nose on a stage. And I just feel for her, because been there, done that. And I have full faith. It's not just me and it's not just Taylor. It's probably anyone else who's ever performed in front of a live audience in the various elements or with a cold. It happens. And so, yeah, be nice. Be nice. You might be a Swiftie because you love her music. I'm a Snifty because I have the runny nose too. And I would, if somebody made a video montage, not a collage, there you go, a montage of me and my runny nose, I'd probably just laugh it off. I would shake it off and I would laugh it off, because how absurd, right? But yeah, let's be nice. And yeah, poor girl, she's got a runny nose. She's got a runny nose too. Maybe that could make those of us lesser performers, meaning smaller audiences, maybe we can feel like we have this great connection, but leave the girl alone. Everybody gets a runny nose sometimes. Not everybody's in a position to wipe it or blow it properly. Okay, here's my other crisis. That wasn't a crisis, but this is a real crisis. Is this weekend, I am giving a keynote for a wonderful organization called Blossoming Butterflies. They support patients going through care for our treatment for breast cancer, uterine cancer, and ovarian cancer. Lovely foundation formed by a woman who I believe she had breast cancer and had a hard time. And anyway, they're supporting these patients, and I'm doing the keynote at their gala. And the gala is called Shades of Pink. And they're expecting everybody to wear formal attire and pink formal attire. And your very, very dumb fitness friend, Fitz Kohler, thought she had a fancy pink dress in her closet. And I just realized this weekend that I do not have a fancy pink dress in my closet. So I went out shopping, and I'm in Gainesville, Florida, and the shopping here is not great. And I actually went to Dillard's first, because Dillard's tends to have the gowns. And we've bought Ginger's homecoming dresses and so forth there. I know a lot of people get gowns at Dillard's, and they just didn't have much. They had one dress that was actually, could have been really hot. It was fitted at the waist and had a triangle top. Think of if you're wearing a bikini, the triangle shape with the straps. That's kind of what the top looked like. It fit me like a glove, came down, curved my hips. It was beautiful. It was short on the left side, and I prefer short. For some reason, I just feel like I look dorky in long dresses. But anyways, the length on the left side, absolutely perfect. And then it had this asymmetrical weirdness. And on the right side, it just went down like kind of a big tongue hanging down the right side of my leg. Oh, it's so sad. It's so sad. It had so much potential. And I thought, maybe I'll buy it and just nobody will care for the night. But I sent the photo out to a few people I trust on their opinion. And they said, yeah, that's stupid. That asymmetrical thing is ridiculous. Maybe you could get it altered. And then I thought, well, damn it, I'm just too lazy to get it altered. And so where do you get a formal pink dress on 6 days notice, right? It's not easy. So I've turned to the online markets and I have found a couple of things I'm desperately hoping will work. If not, I will show up naked and I will, that's right. My body is somewhat pink and I will just say, here you go. This is it. My birthday suit is pink and don't give me a hard time. But yeah, they apparently go all out. The women at this gala look gorgeous. They are ball gowns, which is so not Fitz Kohler. You know what? If you're going to send me to the Academy Awards, perhaps for whatever reason that would be, I would put on a big gown. I would figure that out. But I'm a short dress kind of girl. So the dresses that I chose online are short. And I want you all to pray for me. That's right. That's right. Pray. Waste your prayers on me and my stupid dresses. Not easy. And I know the women who are listening to this show probably know exactly what I'm talking about when you're put with a proverbial gun to your head over fashion. You think, God dang it. Why pink and formal? But it'll be a great night. And I hope that my dresses work out again. If not, if you read an article that says Florida woman shows up to speak naked at a gala, it's me. And that's why, because I couldn't find a fancy pink dress and I would have borrowed one, but I don't have a lot of my friends who wear the same size. So, stay tuned for hopefully great news. Okay. That I needed you to know. I don't know why I needed you to know it. And I'm very excited about my presentation. I do have a good message I'd like to deliver. And I'll share that with you after it's done. But I'm excited about delivering the message because you know what? If you go through cancer and you can't make lemonade, and for me, it's not only about doing well myself, but how do I help others live better, live longer, do better, be better, then it would have been even stupider than it was. So I'm grateful to be done with cancer. And I'm grateful to have some of these lovely lessons that allow me to go, impact others and make their life a little easier too, right? Okay, now I'm moving on to my vacation. That's right. I just went on vacation. Family offered to take me on vacation for my birthday, and my parameters were I will go anywhere as long as the dogs will come. I have 2 dogs. Piper's 15 years old. She's 15 years young. We just had her quinceañera in mid-April. Her birthday's actually April 29th, but we had a great party for her. And you know what? I just love her and I want to be with her. And I realized that I might have less time than I've already had with her. And it's important for me to be with her and hold her little paw every day I can and kiss her little face every day I can. And then I have Joey, who's 3, and he's just so much fun too. And part of one of the only hard parts about what I do professionally is leaving. I'm leaving these dogs. They literally lie in my luggage before I fly out. So they don't want me to go and I don't want to go. And I'm certainly not going to go just for shits and grins. So I said, we can go anywhere as long as we could take the dogs. So the family chose Ellijay, Georgia. It's in the Blue Ridge Mountains and it's a beautiful little mountain town. And we were in this cabin. They rented Airbnb. It's so beautiful. It's a home on a river with a massive yard, and it looks like a log cabin with a normal inside, right? Like the everything's normal on the inside, but the out is so gorgeous. And they had big decking all around the house, in the front yard, and the back. There was a hot tub in the back overlooking the river, which was spectacular. There was a patio that is a circular building with a steeple, a point. That's a steeple, right? And big fans in there and a flat screen TV and a fireplace, just heaven on earth. And that was kind of the main event, is being at the cabin was so fantastic. And we just enjoyed relaxing there. We had deer all over the property. We wake up in the morning and there was deer everywhere. Come home at night from dinner, deer everywhere. Just so lovely. And it was nice and warm. So we did a couple things. We did some active things. And this is where I'm going with it, is because if you're going to go on vacation this summer, and I hope you do, I hope you force in physical activity. And so sometimes people think, I'm going to go on a cruise and I'm going to get my money's worth in food. And I just think, so dumb. A, you're never going to get your money's worth in food. It's okay if you enjoy your meal. I want you to do that. I want you to stay nourished. I want you to have some fun, make some friends at your meals. But the main event of going on a cruise or going on a vacation should never be food. I think if you do that, you're doing it wrong. And then I want you to seek out physical stuff that's fun. That's how you make the memories. That's how you force in the laughter and the adventure, is by pursuing these active adventures. And so our active adventures were, we did Amicalola Falls, which is, it's like the third tallest waterfall east of the Mississippi. So I think it's very funny that they've laid claim to that, because it's so compartmentalized. It's not the largest in the United States, but it's the third east of the river or whatever. So moral of the story, it's beautiful, beautiful. It's part of the Appalachian Trail, and it's part of this big park system. And drive in and you get out, and we took the dogs up to the waterfall, and it's a pretty steep climb just to get to the base of the waterfall. There, it's paved and there are ramps, but it's significant climbing. Like I have a lot of family members who are either older or fragile. They could not make this trip, and pushing a wheelchair up these paved rampy sidewalks would be pretty tough. It could be doable, but tough stuff. So got up there, and then there's a sign that says, we left, my kids stayed down with the dogs, but there's a sign that says 175 steps to the mid-level or something. So I thought, okay, let's go do that. And so we climb up these steps, and you start to feel worked, right? Pretty quickly, because going up spikes your heart rate, whether you're going up the stairs at your hotel or at the hospital you work out, or you're going upstairs outdoors, it spikes your heart rate. So instantly you feel like, okay, I'm working, but it's so pretty. And there's these beautiful trees and flowers, and the water is rushing down the falls, and there's creeks and things to see. So anyways, good times, paced ourselves, got up to the midpoint. So that's 125 steps in, I believe. And then there's another, and when you get there, gorgeous view straight up the waterfall. That's when you can really see stuff, because there's a gradual build for the waterfall where you're going kind of horizontal, and then there's the straight up part getting to the top of the waterfall. So then the next group of signs said 425 or 475 steps to the top. And I thought, all right, let's do it. Because why not? We're here. We're able-bodied. Why shouldn't we? Now, if I had a broken leg, I would have taken a pass on most of it, right? But if you've got an able body, you should give it a go. And so did that. I actually have some video footage. Well, I'll get that uploaded soon. But yeah, it took my time. I didn't feel the pressure that I had to climb all 400 steps in a row like a boss. And maybe I could have, but I decided to do a few flights, and then to either have a seat on the bench or take a pause and look over the waterfall. And that's what I recommend, because you're on vacation, right? You're not just there to kill yourself. This is not an ego moment. This is you getting yourself up to the top. And I don't know, I just felt better doing it that way than driving. I could have driven to the top too, but it was lovely, and it was challenging. And I could feel my calves start to say, I hear you. I'm here. Pay attention to me. And I ignored them. And the next day, my calves were super sore. That's right. They were super sore, but that's fine. It was a good kind of sore, the kind of sore you experience when you've done something grand. And so yay for me and my calves. But I got almost to the top and then dropped my cell phone. That's right. Dropped my cell phone underneath the decking. And I went, oh no, oh no, oh no. I dropped my phone. It's gone. And so Hero jumped over the decking and went down and found it for me. Thank goodness. But that was a moment of a heart attack. The last time I lost my phone, I didn't really lose it. I got pickpocketed in London. I had spoken in England last January, and I was walking through Chinatown, and I had this big coat on, and I was on my phone, and then I put it in my pocket. As soon as I put it in my pocket, this big white dude, I hear he's Romanian, with a suit. He looked like a professional man, not someone you would think was robbing you blind. He smacked into me, and then I don't know, maybe 10 steps later, I put my 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 hand in my pocket and my phone was gone. And that was a real pain in the can because even though I have Apple Care, note to you, they do not replace Apple products internationally. I had to wait till I got home from London and I was there all alone for quite a few days with no phone. Couldn't get an Uber, couldn't get a Lyft, couldn't do a lot of things I had been doing with my phone. So always keep those things deep down in the crevices of your clothing or your body because pickpocketing, no fun, but also no fun when you're a moron and you just drop your phone over the side of the decking. So I thought it was a goner. I was already in my mind thinking, where is an Apple store in relation to Ella J? I don't think there's any Apple stores near Ella J or the Blue Ridge. I could be totally wrong, but that was my guess. I'm very grateful. I did not have to learn that hard lesson, but I got to the top of the waterfall and it was absolutely spectacular. I believe there are plenty of waterfalls around there. In fact, from what I hear, there are waterfalls all over this great nation of ours. That's right. You could actually do a waterfall tour of America. And I didn't know that people did that, but I posted some photos from the waterfall I was visiting, Amicalola, and quite a few people reached out and said, I'm obsessed with waterfalls, and this is something I do. I pursue visiting them. And so, waterfalls, that's a really nice idea for active vacation activity. The next thing we did was whitewater rafting the next day. We did Rolling Thunder river tours, and they're based out of a town called McKaysville, that's in Georgia. It butts up against, I think, it could be Cooperstown, Tennessee, Cooper something or Copper something. Anyhow, Rolling Thunder River Tour, highly recommend them. I did not get any kickbacks from them. I paid for my ticket, so I'm not just plugging them because they paid me to. I purchased their service and I enjoyed them. But when we were getting our little lesson on whitewater rafting, which I've done several times, so is Ginger, but they give you the info just in case somebody needs to know the info, or maybe it's been a few years type thing. So they're telling us how to hold the oar, where to sit in the boat, blah, blah, blah. And our host, a man named Chase, he says, at some point, if you want, you can ride the bull. Everybody looks at him like he's a little crazy. And he goes, yeah, you're just going to sit on the very tip of the boat and there's a red strap underneath. And so you hold on to that and you can ride the bull. So Ginger and I look at each other like, yeah, we're going to do that because she's a gamer too. I say yes to everything. Ginger says yes to everything. She is so much fun. So we get in the water and there's 5 guests in the boat and our guide Chase. And it was wild. I got to tell you, it was the roughest rapids I've ever experienced on a rafting trip. And I've been rafting in Montana, which was pretty fun. In Colorado, it was pretty lame because it was like a one the whole way. In Georgia, and Tennessee, we had level 3. I think we had 4 or 5 rapids too. Some really solid rafting, but it wasn't anything that was scary. It was just fun. So I don't want to deter you by saying it was a 3 and a 5. I think the 5 is the hardest you can get. It wasn't unreasonable for anybody, whatever your fitness level is, as long as you don't have some major spinal issues, I think you probably would be fine. But we sat in the very front. And man, we just got hammered. We got hammered with the cold water, just splashing us, dumping on us, dousing us. I got one of those sinus cleanses, that sometimes a wave in the ocean hits you and it just completely clears your sinuses. That happened quite a few times on my rafting trip, but it was screaming and giggling from the start. And again, you don't get that when you plan your vacations around fine dining. If that is your focus, you're never going to scream and giggle in the fine restaurant. You're not going to do it unless you're willing to get kicked out, right? But the second we got into the water, oh, and mind you, I think the water was like 60 something degrees, maybe less, but the temperature outside was 95. So even though the water was very, very cold, it just wasn't as punishing as it could have been if it were chilly outside. But yeah, for 2.5 hours, we were out on that river, just laughing our heads off, laughing till we cried, screaming. It was so much fun. And that's what I wish for you. That's what I wish when you go on vacation, you figure out something that makes you hoot and holler and giggle. And those are the things you're going to talk about with your family, your friends. Those are the things you're going to look back on and be grateful you did. And, other things that fall into that category for me would be jet skiing or zip lining or I don't know, even playing charades on the deck of the boat or with a group of strangers, right? There's so many fun things you could do: swimming in the pool, snow skiing, wakeboarding, snowboarding, uh, going out on one of those carriages where the wolf dogs pull you, right? I haven't done that yet, so I don't remember the word for those. But yeah, think about outdoorsy, get you moving, add some exhilaration to your life type activity. So we just had a blast. So this river rafting tour was already quite bumpy and grand in the best way possible. We were in wonderful hands with Chase, and he guided us to row forward, row backward. Sometimes he'd spin our boat around and put us in a specific spot of the river where the nose would drop down and the water would just pelt us. I mean, Ginger and I were getting it the worst. Everybody behind us got it too, but it was very fun and funny. And then at some point he says, "All right, who wants to ride the bull?" And Ginger went, "Me." And that was pretty awesome because I'm so proud of her. So proud of my girl for being so brave and adventurous. And so she straddles the tip of the boat, but she can't reach the rope. The rope's actually pretty far down. So finally I get up and lean over, grab the rope, which is below the boat. But it's funny, as I'm doing that, my booty is in everybody's face. I'm wearing my bikini and my life vest, and everyone's getting a big shot of my bum. But whatevs, you got to do what you got to do, right? So I get her the strap, and she's able to ride the bull for a moment or two, but she's laughing too hard. She gets knocked into the boat, and she's just down on the floor of it laughing. We keep going. It's like, anyone else? And so I said, me. And so I gave it a try. I was able to grab the strap in advance because I knew where it was, but I actually rode the bull for quite a while, and just exhilarating. One of those things where you sit up there, and of course the risk is that I get tossed into the water. I mean, everybody in the boat could have been tossed into the water. There were definitely some rocks out there, and in hindsight, I thought, maybe that wasn't the wisest. I could have been, I don't know, what's the worst that would have happened? I would have broken my arm or something. We were wearing helmets and life preservers, so I wasn't going to drown. I wasn't going to get a concussion, but I don't know. There might have been consequences, but they also might have been worth it because it was so much fun. But yeah, as I straddled that tip of that boat, I was just thinking, yeehaw, right? I wasn't thinking this is scary or whatever. I was thinking, hooray, I'm so proud of me for doing this. And this is awesome. This is one of those life experiences where you just, you keep with you, right? So riding the bull, I highly recommend. If you go whitewater rafting, and you should go whitewater rafting, do that and then ask if you could ride the bull. And I hope you can. So we had a great time. And then we actually purposely got in the water to swim around a little bit. Ginger was a little more adventurous swimming, and I was a little more of a weenie because it was quite cold. But I did get in, and I do get all the points for that. But highly recommend Rolling Thunder River Tours. Highly recommend the Blue Ridge Mountains as a cool place to have a vacation, and pretty affordable too. I think in Montana, I paid over $100 per person for whitewater rafting, and I think it was 40 something bucks for whitewater rafting at Rolling Thunder. It was very, very affordable. So the waterfalls and then the river rafting was super cool. Oh, and here's another thing. There was a couple in the back of the boat. I would say they're in their 50s and 50s ish. And the woman, I had asked her if she ever rafted before. She said no. And she said she was really scared. She said, but I know I need to do this. And she was so sweet. She was just so sweet. And we got out after the end of the rafting tour. I said, how was your trip? She said, it was so fun. She said, I cried a few times because I was so happy. So happy I gave it a shot. She didn't want her life to be commanded by fear, right? And she just was so joyful, not only because it was fun and funny, but the surroundings, to be in these rivers surrounded by these mountains and the trees and the animals, the wildlife it's just magnificent. So I was really happy for her that she brought herself to tears with such a wonderful experience. Okay, moving on. If you're going to go on vacation this summer, or if you're going to plan a vacation in the fall or the winter or the spring or forever for the rest of your life, please promise to me that you are going to do something that is in the athletic adventure category, wherever it may fall. Do that. There's also some other cool stuff to do. We did a train ride going from, I don't remember a Blue Ridge to McKaysville, back in the same town where the river rafting tour started. The train, it was an hour-long ride up and then down the mountain. Train ride was okay. It was just nice to sit there. We had It was open car, a train car, no windows. It was just open so we could look out and get the fresh air. I wouldn't say it was the most beautiful train ride I've ever taken. I've taken one in Colorado. I've taken one in California. That was pretty special. The one in Blue Ridge, meh. If you're going with your parents, and I don't know how old you are, but no, if you're going with your parents and you're looking for something to do that's mellow, the train ride is a good choice. It wasn't a bad experience. It was just low key. And if I had to do it over, I would probably spend those few hours doing something athletic, but it was what it was. Okay. Now, moving on to athletics. I got to tell you, the gym that I'm a member of here in Gainesville, I'm going to say Gainesville Health and Fitness Center. I used to teach there. I used to teach fitness there when I was in grad school. And then maybe a little bit after. So I don't know. I was 20, 21, 22. I taught classes. It was wonderful. More importantly, the owner of the Gainesville Health and Fitness Center is an icon in the fitness industry. He is a man he was homeless when he opened the gym. He lived in his car and he spent whatever money he had to rent out the space. And the people that were members of that gym originally, which was 45 years ago. So whatever that is, it's 19, I'm thinking 79, might be 89. 89? I can't do the math right now. Anywho, 45 years ago, he was homeless, started this gym, and the membership price that people paid back then, and maybe it was $50 a year or something, those people, their prices have never gone up. He is the most honorable, dignified, ambitious, decent businessman ever. And so when he gives you a price, that's your price. That's your price forever moving forward. He's not going to raise the rates on you. And since then, his gym is not only this one fitness center, it's now 3. There's a massive gym in the center of town that has a beautiful pool, lap pool and a hot tub and a cold pool and a warm pool for rehab. And then there's a basketball court and there's a group fitness center and there's the spinning room, and they're expanding even further. I mean, this thing is a monster and it is absolutely everything. And then there's a women's gym completely just for women. It has a hot tub and then all the cardio and the strength equipment. And it's got 2 places for group classes. And it's wonderful. And if you're a girl who's a little nervous to exercise around boys, that's a great place for you. And then the third place is kind of a posh, shishi gym. It's got all the bells and whistles with the strength and cardio, but it's got a little more of a fancy vibe, a little more of a Pilates yoga center vibe. And they've built this outdoor pavilion. They've always had an outdoor place to exercise, or almost always in this location, but now they've added a roof and it's still outdoorsy, and they have it's a brand called Big Ass Fans, but these monster fans. And so you can go and just exercise outdoors instead of just exercising in the building. They've got dumbbells and cables and racks for pull-ups and dips, and there's bikes out there, and there's tires to flip, and it's just so wonderful. And I just love being outside, and I hope you have access to something like that. This is where I'm going. I'm super proud to be affiliated with the Gainesville Health and Fitness Center. I'm a paying member. My free membership disappeared when I stopped teaching classes there a million years ago, but I'm happy to give them my money every month. And they keep upping the ante and they keep offering new options for me. And that pool came in real handy when I was pregnant. It came in real handy when I had a broken foot, when I was sick, and when my back hurt. There was all these reasons to need a pool as an option. And it's just so wonderful to have a fitness center that has a pool. I mean, they've got all the bells and whistles, but to add the outdoor option, in fact, they have an outdoor pavilion at the main center too. And I love it. I love it. So I hope your fitness center offers a variety of things. If not, maybe check around. Perhaps there's another location in your town, another fitness center that does offer more, and maybe that will suit your needs. But if not, you can bring your exercise bands outside. You can bring your dumbbells outside. You can bring your jump rope outside. And there's just something so rewarding about being in the fresh air, and maybe do that just sometimes. I'm not saying I'm going to spend all my time outside. I do like being indoors with the various machines and so forth, but it just was wonderful. I went in, I got pink, I got sweaty, I worked hard. And I don't know, it just felt even after all that hard work, I felt a little more mentally put together because I had done that exercise outdoors. So I hope you consider outdoor exercise too. I know some of you are in scorching places like I am. Florida, it's 95 degrees here. The heat index is 105. So you got to be safe. I was outdoors, but there was a cover and there was fans. So that suited me well. I had a big water with me and I managed my temperature. But maybe you exercise outdoors in the morning or out at night, but variety, right? Variety goes so far. Even if you're lifting the same exact dumbbell in the same exact way, doing it in your living room versus doing it in the gym versus doing it at the park or in your backyard, all of it adds a little something extra. And I'd like you to look for that variety. Okay. Next up, congratulations to Deb Durig. Deb from New Jersey. She is the winner of my fitzness flag hoodie competition. We have that brand new fitzness flag design and it's going on a bunch of fitzness gear right now. We have hoodies released first and she found the pink microphone on fitzness.com. I had a whole bunch of you enter that competition. And so I used a randomizer online and said between this number and that number, pick a number, and the internet did. And it picked Deb's number. So she won the hoodie and she's going to look so great. If you haven't seen it yet, I'm really proud of it. It was inspired by the Columbia fish flag. So if you've seen the mostly men roaming around with the American flag, but the red stripes are made out of bass or different fish, I thought, I love that. I mean, I love my country, right? Anything I can do to be associated with the American flag makes me happy. But I traded the red stripes and the red fish for running shoes. And then instead of the white stars, I put in little microphones. I think it's very, very fun. In fact, I just put it on sale today and I've already had a ton of orders. So we have white and gray hoodies available. If you go to fitzness.com, just go to the store, scroll down, you'll find the Fitzness flag hoodie, but I'm proud of that. And I'm thrilled that Deb was the winner. I would have been thrilled whoever the winner was, but she's an awesome gal. She actually comes down to run Gasparilla every year. So I see her in Tampa and I don't see her enough. It's like one of those things where I see so many of you. I look forward to seeing you. And then I get, 3 minutes at the expo and then a hug at the start line with a selfie. And then I run you through the finish line. I don't see you again. Deb's one of those, but I really, really enjoy her. And I know she's going to look absolutely gorgeous in this hoodie. So big congratulations to you, Deb Durig. And then if you haven't listened yet, you got to listen to the Chuck Engel Marathon Junkie episodes. I've already released one and I have a second one coming. Chuck has run over 500 marathons right now, but 500 at a sub 3 hour pace. That means somewhere in the 2 hour, 20 minutes, 2 hours, 40 minutes, crazy speed. And we talk a little bit about speed in the episodes, but really what Chuck has to offer is this wealth of experiences because he's run all the races. He's run the giant ones and the tiny ones and the ones in every state. I think he's run all 50 states at least 3 times. He has some favorites. He always goes back to Boston. He really likes grandmas, but he gives these wonderful pointers on marathon running and choosing your races and then some really funny stories. And I asked him, how many times have you puked at a race? And have you had things go south and on the south side of your body? And he has just some great stories. I asked some really pointed questions based on the stuff runners tend to like to talk about, right? Because anytime I say, what's your favorite part or the worst part of race day, people say, oh, the porta potties or the bathroom situation or the coffee situation. You know what I'm saying? So I asked the things I thought you would want to know, but he was a wonderful guest, very well spoken, and he's just a really nice guy. But I had so many people reach out after part 1 and say, I can't wait for part 2. I wish you would interview him for 20 more hours. It was that good. So what I'm telling you is even if you're not so interested in listening to me yammer on for another episode today, go listen to that episode featuring Chuck because it's just so darn good. So darn good. Okay. That was it. That was it, except for our song of the week. Are you ready for it? Song of the week. This is the song that I would like you to add to your playlist. And you can, even if you don't use Spotify or Amazon Music, or you don't want to purchase a song, you can just turn on YouTube and listen to it. But I want you to add it to your playlist while you're exercising this week. So whether you're playing tennis, or you're playing soccer, or what else could you be doing? You're doing Krav Maga. I want you to listen to this song. I'm recommending I Had Some Help from Post Malone featuring Morgan Wallen. It's really good. And you know what? It sounds like a real country song. It's from Post Malone. He's an interesting dude. I mean, he's got all the tattoos in all the places, including all over his face. And every time I see him interviewed, he's so nice. I think people with tattoos on their face maybe look like they might be scary people, perhaps, but he's just such a sweetheart. So I don't know all the things there is to know about Post Malone, but I could tell you I really like this song, and his face is not reflective of who he is. He seems to be a lovely man. And yeah, I want you to listen to it. Do you hear me? It's called I Had Some Help by Post Malone, and it's featuring Morgan Wallen. That's right, the balcony chair thrower. We're going to forgive him for this song because it's a good one. And I think that's it. If you haven't done so, again, click subscribe. Go visit fitzness.com. I have a ton of new articles out. And of course, if you love someone with cancer or a recent survivor, perhaps you might consider the Cancer Comeback series. That's right. I have 3 books designed to help people through it. And from what I hear, they do. So that's it. And we'll see you next time, folks. I love you. Get to work.
Hi, this is Rudy Novotny, the voice of America's Marathons. We all love how much running has benefited every aspect of our lives, so much so that most of us only wish we'd started sooner. Wouldn't it be wonderful to gift the opportunity to children of today? Well, you can. The Morning Mile is a before-school walking and running program that gives children a chance to start each day in an active way while enjoying fun, music, and friends. That's every child, every day. It's also supported by a wonderful system of rewards, which keeps students highly motivated and frequently congratulated. Created by our favorite fitness expert, Fitz Kohler, Morning Milers across the country have run over 2 million miles and are having greater success with academics, behavior, and sports because of it. The Morning Mile is free to the child, free to the school, and is inexpensively funded by businesses or generous individuals. Help more kids get moving in the morning by visiting morningmile.com. Champion the program at your favorite school or find out more about sponsorship opportunities. That's morningmile.com. Long may you run.